Verona Borough Council, Tuesday, March 13th. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Kenna.
President Drabicki Bell.
Here.
Mr. Conti.
Here.
Dr. Carpenter.
Here.
Ms. Lualba.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. Provenza.
Here.
Mr. Suchovich. Here. Mr. Alexander.
Here.
Mr. Fitch.
Here.
Mayor Recupero.
Here.
Council will now hear comments from the public. Registered comments. Mrs. Okendi?
Angela Walker, 5521 Center Avenue. So the Garden Club's Spaghetti Dinner fundraiser is coming up on Saturday, March 24th. It's from 5 to 9, and it's going to be at the Verona Presbyterian Church up on South Avenue, across from Cribs. The dinner is going to consist of spaghetti, salad, dinner roll, dessert, and a drink, which would be water or coffee. It will be $8 for an adult, and children under 10 are free. We're also having a Chinese auction, and we're going to have a DJ. So we would love to see everybody up there to support us. I was going to ask you, Janet, if the sign up at Cribs is fixed, that we could put something up there for the spaghetti dinner.
I can do that. I just got the key back, so
Okay.
I can fix it.
The glass is all fixed and everything.
So I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet.
I saw it yesterday, and it looked like
so I'm hoping, yeah.
Yeah, I thought we could just put something up there, and I think, Nancy, were you going to put something on the sign back there for us?
Yep, as soon as this meeting is over, then we can take this meeting
Okay,
off and
yeah.
have room for the other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do have tickets if anybody would like to purchase them. I do have tickets. And so the next question would be concerning the hanging baskets. I just kind of need an answer as to if the council is going to commit to the watering this year.
Yes.
I would have to get a hold of the baskets and take them up to Michael Brothers and get them seated and ready to go.
Yeah, I was talking with Bob Steinhaus. We have those OVR students coming. I think we can utilize them.
Okay, so can I make arrangements maybe towards the end of the week to get those baskets?
Yeah, I'll have them move them to the far garage by the door, and if you let me know when you're going to be there, I can have them help you
Okay,
load
as soon
them
as I
up.
get my truck back, I'll call it. It's in the shop right now, so as soon as I get it back, probably towards the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make a point here that the OVR students are great for like June and July and a little bit of August, but then they leave sort of midway through August to go back to school. So then last year we had Tommy Gravel take over the watering after that, but we paid him. So if we're committing, that's great, I am all for it, but we need to realize that it's going to cost some money from mid-August until whenever we're done with them, which is what, October or something?
And just so you know that we anticipate that we'll be able to cover the entire cost of the baskets because of the fundraising. So we won't be asking you guys for any money. So we should be able to cover the entire cost.
Okay.
So if you could commit to the watering, then we can move forward.
How much did we charge, did Mr. Goodall charge us for watering?
I don't remember. We actually put him on payroll, and I think it was like $10 an hour.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
As long as he's willing to do it again, I mean, I don't see
Yeah, I
why
don't
that's an
think it
issue.
was that
Plus, there's an
much.
additional opportunity through OBR that Bob was mentioning.
Right.
That we could get somebody through Riverview that would be actually longer term. We'd be able to have them probably May through October.
Okay.
And that would also be covered by the school district, so there's other options.
Because they would need them watered in May, correct? You're going to have them up for Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, yeah. So towards the end of May and then probably all the way up through October, as long as they live. They did really well last year. I mean, really well. So, very pleased.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have permission to put this up in the vestibule?
It's a flyer.
That's your
about-
flyer for the
Is that
fundraiser?
flyer for the spaghetti?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
Angela, do me a favor, flip the mic on. It's not on. Just switch up.
Is this a
All
good
the way up.
opportunity to use the tech
Yes, we are.
Oh, great.
That, yeah.
Thank you.
Mrs. Del Rosso?
So I wanted to just come by and introduce myself. I know I spoke to Angela today. Hi. And just let you know, I did send you an email today. I don't know if you were able to
Yeah.
see it. Just a couple things. We'll start sending out information to the Tribune regarding any kind of information you want set out. I keep in mind that they want stories. They like current events, but they want some stories. So we have to do that. I did speak to the Tribune review regarding the old advance leader, which was Oakmont and Verona together. So we're looking at putting together a proposal to possibly revive that thing. Right now, it's the Oakmont advance leader and the Penn Hills Progress, where Verona goes to. But the editor at the Trib has agreed to stick some of them on both. So again, a lot of the school stuff will go to the Plum Advance Leader as well. But I'm trying to get more of a shared system. So it's a work in progress. I told him I wasn't going to put a formal proposal together if they were going to down it. So he's talking to the right people. And the CEO of the Trib and I kind of exchanged LinkedIn messages as well, try to sit down and talk about the development here in Oakmont and Verona and how they share the same school districts. So we want to do that as like a sister town effort. So I guess though, I wanted to see too, once the website and the social media stuff is up and running, we'll start collaborating too with the chamber regarding some of the events, the bike event, things like that. Sometimes it's too early to put that stuff out. So the information regarding the garden club stuff will go out. Angela said she was going to give me like a contact name and number. That way when they put it on a Trib, if someone has questions regarding pre-sales and things like that, they'll get it up.
Okay.
I spoke with you on the phone as well. Does anyone have any questions, or I'm going to email you, Janet, regarding the rec stuff, so that we can start there. But the dates for like the farmers market, the food trucks and things like that, does that all go through Patty at the chamber, or are we?
Pretty much the chamber is involved with that.
Okay, so I will collaborate with her on that and get all that
The
stuff.
farmer's market is run by the borough, it's sponsored by the borough,
Okay.
not the chamber.
But Patty does that.
But Patty does the work.
Patty Thomas does all that.
Patty organizes.
Patty Thomas, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Carrie, I'm real pleased to hear you may resurrect the advance leader. I have tried with those people so many times, and they would say, "You will never get it." That's how they put it to me. And I said, "What would it take? What do you need us to do? Do you want ads? Do you want this? Do you want that?" And she said, "Look, we're just not doing Verona, period."
Yeah,
So if you can budge them,
Yeah, and it's
Touche.
disheartening because, again, we share a school district. So all of that, the problem is that I see is that it's two different zip codes. There's also two different magistrates. So Plum and Oakmont use Zuko, and Verona and Penn Hills use So that comes part of the problem because the magistrate notes are put in the specific paper.
Right, and that
So-
15147 is a problem anyhow, because then anything that bad that happens in Penn Hills, Verona gets the rap for that too.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
So, and not to say that Penn Hills, I think that we have to separate ourselves as our borough and promote it in any possible way we can. I would like to do possible like a business spotlight on a couple of the new stores that have come up that I run past in the mornings and things like that. I want to maybe get over and start just throwing some stuff out there, and probably be a good way just to get some positive feedback.
Wonderful. You had asked me who Mr. Steckel was with that shoe drive.
Yeah, is he a Verona?
Actually, I'm not real sure where, or that there were two husband and wife teams that started the shoe drive 3 years ago.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Steckel and Mr. and Mrs. Erickson. Last year, as they were loading the truck with a bag of 300 shoes, Mr. Steckel had a massive heart attack. and passed away. So Mrs. Steckel wanted to continue the shoe drive because their love for the greyhounds and everything. So that is why it's in memory of him.
Well, and the Burners participated in it as well.
It's because I hit up Mrs. Plant's.
Sure. So we want to make sure that that goes out. But I just wanted to see what that connection was. Like, they asked those kinds of questions.
Sure.
Anything that, any kind of history that has happened here in Verona that we can try to get a story from, just, figure things will have fun and we can possibly spin something really cool if there's, any kind of information that we can get out there just about the borough in general.
Very good. And Mr. Kennan and I talked, and we talked with you as well, that when it comes to the public comments and that, instead of you getting the direct from 2,000 people, public information will go through Mr. Kenna, and then council information will come through me, so that you're only dealing with Mr. Kenna and myself.
Okay.
And not 2,500 people.
Sure.
Or however many.
Sure. I mean, I do encourage, though, like, if they go have a question, just forward it on to me, and then I can help out, because that way then, you can take yourself out of it as well. But I have to, I do want to definitely talk about rec board stuff, because recreation is a big deal, and the access to the rivers and the playgrounds, and that's the stuff you really want to really make a good plan on.
Right. Very good. Appreciate your help, Carrie. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have a question?
Well, Sandy touched on it. I just wanted to know what the operating procedure is to get information to you. And so...
Well, and that was...
Council would come through me.
Yeah, and just think about the who, the where, the why, the what. Right now, we are a now generation, so I don't like the bike effort is in June, so we won't put anything out until probably the first week of May, I would think. People don't do save the dates anymore. It's just terrible. So, but we definitely want to get information out there. I know that I think there's a new fire truck. That's the stuff we want to get out. The ordinances regarding recycling, garbage, things like that, just that kind of stuff. And if the Trib wants to bite on it, they'll come back and they'll tell me. I mean, I send them stuff constantly, and not maybe 2 out of 5, 2 out of 6. Sometimes they'll say, okay, this goes on a social media calendar. Doesn't go on Instagram. So I just have to keep sending them stuff.
So information, like for instance with the Flower Club fundraiser spaghetti dinner. So what you're saying, Sandy, is you would want in the future for Angela to go through Jerry and then Jerry contact Carrie? Okay.
The whole idea of it, when we talked about it, was to try to, I think everybody has a ton of ideas of things we can have Carrie do. And they're great, and there's a lot we can do. But if 30 people were emailing her every day, that cost is going to go up really fast. So we have to be able to control it. So if we can funnel everything into 1 or 2 people, it's going to help us control the costs.
Or think about setting up, maybe in the next week or so, setting up a subcommittee meeting that we can just do, like a marketing meeting. And I spend time with 3 people, and we go over that list and things, and we can, that's the relationship we have to develop. So I'm fine with that.
Right.
I think it's a good idea.
And we talked about that.
Or something.
So like the Easter egg hunt is on March 31st?
Yes.
You have that information?
Yes, I do have
Okay.
that information. And I was going to talk to Patty about that as well, because that's run through the chamber too.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we'll make sure that gets out too.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
Okay, council will now hear comments from the public on agenda items. Please approach the podium and state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. All right, Mr. Kenna.
All right, first thing is bills payable. The packet that you have has all the bills that are paid and need paid, so we would need a motion to pay the bills.
Can I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Suchovich,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Tax collector, special taxes.
In February of 2018, we received $5,262.30 in delinquent real estate tax. $2,398.55 in real estate transfer tax, $27,432.88 in earned income taxes for the current year, and $10,802.54 in local service taxes for the current year.
Can I have a motion to accept the tax collector special taxes report?
Make the motion to accept the tax collector special tax report.
Motion by Mr. McCarthy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Provenza. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Treasurer's report.
We began February 2018 with $360,479.91 in the general fund. We received $87,837.96 in deposits. We spent $93,134.44. We finished the year, or the month, at $355,183.43 in the general fund.
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make it.
Motion by Mr. Suchovich. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions?
I just have a question. Is there somewhere on here where it shows, like, have we made any payments for the fire truck yet?
Yeah, we haven't made anything for this year, so there's nothing in here about it. We made $110,000 worth of payments last year, which consisted of 2 years of payments. We started in 2015 putting $55,000 a year into the capital reserve for that. Since it took until 2016. Since it took until 2017 to actually have any money due, we took those 2 years of payments and made the initial payment of $110,000 in 2017. So we have 7 years left, and that'll come up due probably around July.
So how are we paying for that? Like,
Out of the
once
general
every
fund.
6,
No, every year. We make one payment a year.
one payment a year? And is that on here under fire?
It's gonna be it's in the budget, but we didn't make the payment yet. So it's under major expenditures on page, you see it?
1, 2, 3.
No.
Fire,
Yeah.
you come down to,
Major expenditures.
goes to 58,000 right there.
Okay, all right.
That's
That's how
the
much we
annual-
pay per year.
Annual payment. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Jerry, was that money taken out of, there wasn't much money in there, it was probably about $3,200, fire truck fund from the,
From the Pliget account, there's
no,
like,
from the Fall Festival. It was donated to start an account.
that's the first time I've ever heard of that. I didn't know anything about paying fire truck money.
3,200, I believe. Over the years, they put, a few thousand, or about $500, I think, every year into it. Then,
I'll look through and see about old documents, but I've not seen anything of that since I started.
Sorry, one other quick question. I looked through last month's, and I couldn't find where you indicate that on the budget there was money for the wayfinding for Allegheny Together. Like, is it supposed to show up, or does it only show up if there's activity?
On the first column is the month's activity.
Right,
The final column is the budget.
right.
So in the budget that we had in past last year, that amount of money was included in the major expenditures for the streets Department of Public Works. So it'd be under
Okay,
account 43073.
all right, because I was looking specifically for that one line item, but it's encompassed
It's
in the
included in that.
260.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Motion on the floor to accept the treasurer's report. Motion by Mr. Suchovich, second by Mr. Conti. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Police chief's report.
Evening, this is for February. We had 145 complaints, 38 crimes reported, 37 declared by arrest or summons, did have 20 arrests. Price code summaries issued was 11, vehicle code summaries issued was 12, had 8 borough code summaries issued and 81 borough parking tickets issued. Our revenue sources, the metrics, fines collected was $838.40. Borough's fines and fees was $425. Police reports purchased $30. $400 in amusement device permit fees. Municipal fines of $51.28. The total was $1,744.68. Then we had another $475 in parking permit fees. I did want to bring something else up tonight. I'm going to go back to May of 2017, about 3:30 in the afternoon. I believe I mentioned this before, but maybe not. We had a bank robbery out at First National Bank. It was about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I remember it very well because it was pouring like a hurricane out there. But we did have an armed person go inside the bank, and the reason I mention it tonight is that I received a phone call. I've been staying in contact with the FBI, who took over the case, obviously, being a bank, and they made 2 arrests on May 7th for that bank robbery that happened back in May. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we had an arrest made.
On May 7th or March 7th?
March 7th. And one person went inside with a weapon. There was nobody hurt, nothing, there was a weapon involved or anything like that. And then the other person was basically the driver. I just want to let everybody know that that bank robbery has been solved and 2 arrests have been made.
Thank you,
That's
Chief.
all I have.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the police chief's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the police chief's report.
Motion by Mr. McCarthy, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Fire chief's report.
We had 7 fire calls for the month of February. It's been pretty slow. Like I said, the truck went out to Monroeville for their expo, and it's going to Harrisburg the 3rd week in May. Hopefully when it gets back, we'll have most of the stuff modded and ready to put it in service then. So, other than that, everything's going pretty good at the fire station.
So it'll be ready to roll for the Memorial Day Parade?
Yes, absolutely.
Ray, would you want to bring?
It would be ready to roll for the Memorial Day Parade no matter what. We put the insert, when I mean in service, is like all the stuff we have to monitor there for like when we get on a fire call or something. So no matter what, even if all that stuff's not mounted yet, that truck will be in the parade. So.
Would you want to bring it down for the, to ride the Easter Bunny on the 31st of this month?
We can. We can if they want. They haven't called us. They've used other people recently.
We've always used the police car. I mean, we.
Yeah, whatever. Let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Can I have a motion to accept the fire chief's report?
I'll make a motion to accept fire chief's report.
Motion by Mr. Conti, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. McCarthy. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. EMS report.
Our total volume for the month of February is 30 calls, did 11 basic life support responses, 10 advanced life support responses, 1 lift assist, 4 basic retrievals, 2 cancellations, 1 seasonal arrival, and 1 fire call. Upcoming for next month, we're going to be hosting our first annual health and safety fair at the Taylor Building, which is located right next to the Harmer House. We'll have different vendors from throughout each community. We also invited each police department and fire department to be represented there as well.
And that is what date?
Saturday, April 28th from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m.
April 28th? Okay. Can the public come?
It's free to public.
Okay, very good. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the Lower Valley Ambulance report?
Make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter.
Second.
Second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
I just have
two more things. We received a couple bids for the landscaping that needs to be done around the borough for the spring cleanup. I passed them out to everybody. One is from Alan B. Thomas Landscaping. One is from Resnick Landscaping Services. They both are basically providing the same thing, which would be a one-time cleanup at the pylons, the Borough Building, and Railroad Pavilion. Landscaping, mulch in the spring, pruning shrubs twice a year, and trees. Weed removal throughout the year, through April through October, November. Mulch at all the trees along the boulevard and on the south and center between ARB and East Railroad. And the only difference that I saw between the two is that under Resnick's, he suggested that we do additional mulch on a touch-up basis at the end of the summer or early fall. The prices came in, I believe the total of Alan D. Thomas was $3,900. Resnick came in at $3,200. So council needs to discuss and decide who's going to get the bid.
So, I have a question. Who are we going to have cutting the parks, cutting the grass in the parks?
That's a whole separate thing here.
Okay.
Probably Resnick again,
Okay.
but that's going to have to probably be a separate bid.
Okay.
Oh, I got a question. The trimming of the trees, I know Bridget always does it. I mean,
Yeah, they're not going to do the ones on the boulevard, the part of the shape, they're not going to do that. They'll just do the ones in front of the Borough Building here and,
on the back street.
yeah.
This is the pavilion. And then under the trimming, shrubs at the municipal building, which is right out front here. The shrubbery at the pavilion. I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of trimming needed on that. Do you know, Angela? No.
Okay.
And entrance. What's the entrance?
That would be the pylons.
Oh, the pylons. Okay. So twice.
We can discuss it and make a decision.
Basically, need to discuss it, make a decision.
Okay, is there any more discussion? I mean, I'm looking at the two prices. Make a motion to go with Resnick Landscaping.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Does anybody have any other
Money-wise.
thoughts?
They're giving you more for less by what I'm reading.
Yeah,
I'll make that motion that we go with Resnick for $3,200.
okay, motion by Mr. Suchovich to go with Resnick Landscaping Services,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Conti. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about is part of the Banner community that we got an email here. As I find it. There we go. That there's a luncheon on Friday, March 23rd at 11 a.m. at the Rivers Club at 1 Oxford Center on Grant Street. Each Banner community receives 2 complimentary seats at the luncheon. Additional seats are $30 per person. I have to get this registered by Thursday, so I need to know if any council members want to go. And so I need to know that tonight.
Jerry, can you give me the date again? I'm sorry.
The luncheon is March 23rd.
Thank you.
Do you want to know that right this minute?
I need to know tonight.
Yeah.
Because they want to know, we just got this in, and they want to know by the 15th.
Do you want to go, Sylvia?
Are you able to go? Are you able to go?
I don't know. Hold on.
I don't have my calendar with me.
I don't know. I'd say register for 2 free spots and then we'll figure
Yeah, you can let me know at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Mayor?
We just have a couple things real quick. Matt or Don's gonna bring up the alley, I'm sure, so I'll leave that one off. The parking lots, we do have money in the parking lot fund to get them sealed and relined. It has been probably close to 10 years since we've done it. It needs to be done.
Yeah.
To continue to maintain that.
Yeah, we talked about that. We're gonna wait till spring when the weather is right, so we can do.
Spring's next Thursday.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
But, yeah, we need to get that done, so I'm kind of urging everybody to let's, continue to maintain it. We do 3 of them, this one, and the far end one.
Yeah.
And we reline everything. The other thing I have is, and I don't know how this happened, but Cribbs Field used to look really, really good. But for some reason or another, we stopped getting them to weed and feed it. In even past councils, nobody seems to know why.
I was here when we did it, and then we just stopped. I have no idea why we stopped.
This goes back to 1998 when my son was playing soccer, and one of the soccer coaches, he worked for Oakmont Country Club, and him and I talked, and he had asked if we wanted to redo the field at no cost. And I brought it to the board, and they said, yeah. They brought all their equipment down from Oakmont Country Club. They aerated it, they did this, whatever they would do like up at the club. And he told us who to get, well actually not who to get, but what chemicals to use on it. And from then on, that grass was so nice. We used to get it done 3 times a year. And I think in the last 4 years, 5 years, it's stopped. And we're starting to get weeds. It's like hay up there now. I mean, it used to be so pleasurable to play on.
We even bought a striping kit for the Z mower.
Right, to put the stripes in, yeah. But that's all lost now and gone because we don't have no brilliancy in the grass. It's like real flat.
Call the country club up again, see if you can get.
Well, he's not there. He's retired since then, yeah. There's all new people up there. But I mean, we can continue it with, weeding and feeding it.
Yeah.
And we need to start now, before spring.
I agree.
To have them come in. So I'm kind of urging this board to reconsider and let's start getting it done, especially that it's being used more and more now.
I thought that we had that discussion when we were making the agreement with REA, that we would be doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
So.
Did we get any bids?
Yeah.
I mean, when are we going to start?
No, we didn't go that far, but we did all agree on starting to maintain it like it was before. I'll start looking into some companies.
We'll make some calls and get some bids.
True Green and, I can't remember the other one. I think we used True Green.
We did. I think I remember that, yeah.
Mills Great Lawns or something like that.
Yeah.
He's really good.
All right, I'll make some calls.
But yeah, we definitely need to get back on track. And how that got on the wayside, I have no idea.
Reese, you just gave a bid to.
He doesn't.
Resnick.
Now you have to have a license for that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, I don't know if they had, I don't know what they had,
Yeah.
I'll make some calls. We'll get somebody up there, get some bids.
And we usually close the park for one day. They'll come in, let's say tomorrow, and it'll be closed until Friday,
All right, I'll make some calls.
That's all I have this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just a few things. The bike derby date, there's a couple different dates floating around. One was,
I got a
I think
date.
for the 2nd of June.
I got it.
It's the 9th.
It's going to be June 9th.
It's going to be June 9th. I've got a letter here from the 6th grade at Verona Elementary. It says, Dear Verona Borough, this year the 6th grade of Verona Elementary will be performing acts of kindness on May 4th, Give Back Day. On this day, Verona Elementary is planning on giving back to help and encourage the community to grow and become its best. What we have planned will help this dream come true. The 6th grade is hoping to place little lending library boxes in Verona. These are boxes that resemble large birdhouses. They are filled with books for the community. There will be a cycle of giving and taking books. We will tend to them to keep them clean and tidy so that it is pleasurable for everyone. Multiple places to put these boxes have been brainstormed by 6th grade. A couple ideas are Cribbs Park and Verona Elementary, but we might need more suggestions for areas to put the lending libraries. We are asking for the Verona Borough's permission to place 2 lending libraries in and around Verona. Do we have your permission to place the lending library boxes in and around Verona? If so, what other guidelines do we need to pursue installation of these lending libraries? Thank you for taking the time to read and consider our thoughts on helping the community to become its best. Sincerely, Verona Elementary, 6th grade, and everybody signed it. So I've been in touch with Mrs. Plants, the principal of Verona Elementary, and I brought this to council's attention, I think, at workshop about meeting with her and discussing the different things. And Mayor, I think you've talked with Mrs. Plants as well.
I go to the PTO meetings.
You know, she has other ideas as well. She has her own little committee of teachers and that are helping her out at the school. And, but this 6th grade here seems like they are interested and anxious about this. I did tell her that we had 2 in the town already, one by No Limits and the other one by the Conservatory for Music down on East Railroad. But these are going to be specifically like around the park, around Verona Elementary, and what they're hoping to do is put kids' books in them so that the kids borrow and share them back and forth. So she would like an answer as to if we would permit this. I mean, does anybody have a problem with these 2 lending libraries at Verona and at Cribs?
No.
Okay.
If I may, one of the other things that we talked about at their meeting is the pavilion up at the Cribs Field.
Yes, she and I talked about that as
Yeah,
well.
to repaint that and put a mural or something on with the art teacher.
Right.
And even if they don't do it, we need to get that repainted. It is so dreary looking. And you can't see at night, even with the light on, because it's a dark green.
Oh, there's nothing on it, on the
Right.
back, on the athletic street. It's blank.
Oh, okay, they didn't paint the back.
Right. So, you know, we had talked about possible, the retouch up of, over at High Street on
Yeah,
that
we
mural,
talked about
and maybe
that.
that one up there being the first responders, you know, having a police scenario on one, a fire scenario on another, an ambulance on another, and the crossing guards on another.
Right.
So, I mean, would that be okay? I mean, does that...
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, it was open for ideas when we discussed it with our board.
Right. Now, as far as the paint and that goes, we'll be responsible for getting the paint?
In the past, the borough always painted, like the...
Provided, right.
Over by the cannon, the
Correct.
borough paid for the brushes, the...
Provided the paint and such.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Okay, so I can say that that would be a go. Okay, thank you. The only other things, I'll let Mr. Alexander talk about the resolution for the feasibility study, and Mr. Pitts, you're going to talk about the dirt, gravel, and low volume road.
Yep.
Okay. Dr. Carpenter, any word on when we're going to meet for those local government academy classes?
We need to make a date.
Okay. And,
I'll mention that at my report.
okay. David, the Doughboy, way back when Mr. Fraser had resurrected the Doughboy for us, you had talked about placing it on a higher pedestal, and I was just wondering, you know, if we're going to do anything about that.
I got it, I will have an answer for you at the next meeting, because we do got the measurements and everything.
Okay. And I attended the COG meeting last month, and they received the 2018 GEDF grant for paving and associated equipment purchase for $250,000. Are you going to talk about this? About the...
I can if you want me to.
Okay. About the equipment that they are going to...
Yeah.
Okay.
You would want me to just speak now?
Sure.
So they got the grant. They're going to purchase some paving equipment, so it will be COG-wide available for all the communities.
They're still working out the details of how they'll staff the equipment, but it won't necessarily be for full road jobs, because I don't think we'll have enough manpower to do something like that, but for alleys or patch jobs, it'll significantly lower the cost for doing it in-house now. I believe they're getting a skid steer with a mill attachment, a trailer for that. They're talking about maybe a full width miller if they can find one, like a larger track miller, and they're getting the paving machine and a roller and a trailer for that as well.
Melting kettle?
A kettle for the tar.
Yeah.
I think as of right now, it's going to be stored somewhere in Springdale Township, but that's still, all those details are kind of being finalized as well.
Right, they were looking for any storage area available. I didn't know if we had anything here available in Verona or not, so.
Well, the way it used to work before was if Verona borrowed a piece of equipment, we kept it until, let's say, Springdale needed it, then they would come and get it. And, they may have everything up by now.
They wanted to pick one centralized location for this equipment because you're going to more or less sign it out when you use it. Because in the past, things had come back damaged. No one really knew who had them last or who caused the damage, where this will be more accountable for if something's damaged or the
That must have gone off the wayside then, because they were very good at that. If something needed welded or something needed, or if something was broke, whoever had it, whatever community would fix it and, then pass it on to the next community, and, maybe if it needed oil change, that community.
Yeah.
Everybody pitched in helping to maintain it.
And that might end up how it is.
There's all new people on there too, they probably changed everything.
They got the grant, so they're taking the steps to get the equipment. I do know they are gonna like to see it kind of used as a package. They don't want to split the equipment up, because then if someone needs one, it's often Springdale or it's over here in Verona. But there's going to be some steps that we have to get through with it, but I think it will be beneficial to all the communities. Sure.
Thanks, Matt. And if anybody's interested, next Monday, the school board meeting will be at Verona Elementary School, and I just need an exec session. We don't have to come back at the end. Personnel.
Okay. Sandy,
What time is
I'm
that,
sorry,
Sandy?
what was the
7?
date on the school board?
Next Monday,
Okay, 7 PM.
7 o'clock at Verona.
Thank you.
March 19th.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Pitch.
I put a report for everyone. I'll touch on a few things. I'm not sure if everyone is aware, we did receive the Arley grant this year. It's for the traffic signal on Allegheny River Boulevard and Wildwood Avenue. We did receive the full $200,000, so Verona has a 0% match with that grant. So we're getting a free traffic light. The other thing David touched on, with all this wet weather, we've had a couple sinkholes pop up. We had Robinson Pipe in town at the end of last week. We got some lines videoed. I'm waiting on the reports, and we'll review those and make recommendations for repairs. Talking to AJ, he was with the crew going around the town. It seems as if they might not so much be the main lines, but some laterals. So we may have to look into making the owners aware that they have a problem. But I'll know more once I get the reports. And the only other thing is a recurring sinkhole that has been happening on Diamond Way. Elvisan did camera that for us. We do have an issue with the main line. I was waiting for responses back from some lining companies to see if we could possibly do it trenchless. Unfortunately, there's too much damage for us to do trenchless, so I'm going to solicit some quotes for a dig repair at that location. It's in the block behind the post office over there. So by next meeting, I'll have some quotes to see if we should move forward with them or not. And if anyone else has any questions, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, the dirt.
Oh,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that. It was presented at the workshop meeting?
Yes.
So the dirt and gravel low volume road, I'm working on one in Harmer Township right now. It will work for some of our alleys. Unfortunately, they do not, even when they qualify for the low volume, they do not pay for asphalt. So that would be on the borough to pay for, but we can use it for drainage work. So there's a couple alleys we know of that has some drainage issues. We can get inlets and piping put in and fix the drainage issue. The drainage is what causes the asphalt to deteriorate anyways. So we can fix the problem and then get the asphalt fixed at a later time, or put together some match them out with the grant. So it's something we can look into moving forward.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple of dirt/gravel roads back by the river, by the Steel City Rowing. Would this be something that would be applicable to those roads?
They would fall under the low volume.
They are low volume?
So this program classifies as low volume is 500 ADT, so 500 cars daily. So almost all the alleys around town would pretty much qualify.
I was thinking it says dirt and gravel.
Yeah, when their definition of the dirt and gravel is kind of when you're in Armstrong County, like no pavement at all. I can always talk, they love coming out and seeing the site in person, so they can always clarify that for us.
Okay.
Again, the dirt and gravel doesn't pay for asphalt.
No, I'm thinking just some gravel.
Yeah, and that's they have a special gravel driving surface aggregate.
Yeah.
It's a lot like millings. It compacts really well. So that's always an option in those areas as well.
Well, there's just a lot of potholes on both going down and coming back out.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Madam President. A few things to speak about today. There are two resolutions that need to be passed. One pertains to what Matt was talking about with regard to the automated red light on Wildwood in the Boulevard. It's a resolution of the Borough of Verona authorizing Sandy Taricki Bell as the president of Verona Borough to sign the automated red light enforcement program project funding agreement on behalf of the borough. That needs to be passed.
Okay, can I have a motion to pass the resolution for the automated red light at the Boulevard and Wildwood Avenue?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti. Do I have a second? Second by?
She can do it.
Okay, Mrs. Loalbo. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Next, I have a resolution. We need to attach a number to it. I see that the red light was number 4, so maybe this will be number 5. Resolution 2018-5. It's a resolution of the Borough of Verona, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing the submittal of joint active Allegheny grant application to the Redevelopment Authority of Allegheny County for an Allegheny riverfront to Boyce Park Trail feasibility study. And this is what Mr. Forbeck has been working on. And that needs to be passed so that he can get the application in. It's under a deadline.
Okay, can I have a motion to pass the resolution?
I'd like to make that resolution, pass the resolution number 2018-5 for the grant application for the redevelopment authority of the Allegheny County for Allegheny Riverfront to Boyce Park Trail feasibility study.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Loalbo.
I'll
Is there a second by Mr. Conti? Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
So, Mike, it was printed out on front and back copies. Is that okay for you? Or will I take that?
Once I have a copy.
Yeah, well, we were going to assign 2 originals.
Yeah.
You'll see on Dr. Carpenter's report there are a number of ordinances, and I'm going to address those right now. I forwarded to Mayor and Council. I forgot to send them to you originally, and then I sent them to you. And for some reason, when I spoke into my thing, it said Babe instead of Dave. So I'm sorry about that.
Okay, honey, no problem.
But the first is the ordinance that regulates rollaway dumpsters and pods and things of that nature in the community. this was more of a collaborative effort with Bob Steinhaus. He had a version, I had a couple versions, and they were put together. Bob wanted it unique for Verona's needs, and that's what we did, and much with Bob's help to get that one completed. The food truck ordinance is the one that is not included. Dane's working on that. I believe it's complete. You sent him a couple corrections. So that's, I think council has seen drafts of that in the past, but it's ready to be advertised and passed. Next is extermination before demo. And what I did was, we really don't have a demolition ordinance per se. So I prepared a full demolition ordinance. It's an ordinance of the Borough of Verona, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, providing for the vacating, removal, repair, or demolition of any structures dangerous to the health, safety, and welfare of the people of the borough, and establishing a procedure for pest and rodent control prior to demolition, and setting forth procedures and rules for determining dangerous structures. So I combined the two, a demolition program and the pest and rodent guidelines. So that's prepared and ready to go. The 5-year occupancy inspection was the revisions to the ordinance 192. And because Bob had a few other revisions in it, what I did was I did an ordinance, put up here, vacating the current ordinance and just readopting it with the new revisions that Bob had suggested, and including in there a provision that allows you to change the application fee from time to time by resolution, so you don't have to do new ordinances in the future rather. And finally is the anti-bullying ordinance, which we've talked about a lot. The mayor was highly involved in getting that to council from Sharpsburg. We conformed it to Verona Borough, and it's ready to be adopted too. I talked to Dr. Carpenter. We're going to look at them one more time at our code enforcement meeting on the 4th Monday. So if there's any other suggestions or changes that need to happen, please let us know, because I believe you've already authorized me to advertise them rather. So I'm going to do that, and you can either pass them at the workshop meeting or at the next regular council meeting. Finally, Nancy talked to me about people parking on slabs in the front yard, parking in the front yard of the front yard setback area of your residence, and whether we currently have an ordinance or not. I believe we do. We haven't been able to find it yet. Nancy gave me sample language from Oakmont that has a pretty straightforward provision in their ordinances. So we're gonna put together, if we can't find it, if it's not in the International Property Maintenance Code or in our zoning code that precludes parking in the front yard setback, we're gonna create that ordinance, and we're gonna have that prepared and ready to go at the next month's meeting as well. David?
We do have...
I think we do too.
Yeah, we put it in, you're not allowed to, if the board approves it or whoever approves it, you have to either have it paved or cemented. Cannot be stone. Is that what you're talking about?
I think they want to outlaw it completely from the front yard setback areas.
What about people who already have?
Well, they already have them. You can't do anything about that.
They'd be grandfathered in.
I don't think that it's the best look of a town to have a bunch of parking slabs in the front yards of nice homes, either on the side going back into a garage, or if there's an alley, parking in the back, or I don't know. It just,
where are these issues occurring?
well, nobody is trying to make people stop parking on cement slabs in their front yard that are already existing.
So maybe instead of getting an ordinance together, I thought it was already in a consideration. We should talk about it at our meeting and decide whether we want it.
Right, I think so, because this is something totally new to me. I mean,
okay.
We haven't discussed it at all.
We'll put it in the committee and discuss it before we decide whether we want it.
This was just the initial delving into the idea.
My bad on that.
Okay.
So that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have to make motions on advertising?
You already did that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you already.
We did?
Sure, we did that last month. Well, why don't you just make a motion to advertise the ordinances that are under consideration?
Okay, can I have a motion to advertise for the ordinances under consideration?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? That's with everything except the anti-bullying, correct? I mean, we're going to look at this because I had passed it on to Dr. Carpenter when Mr. Cooper originally brought it up.
Okay.
For consideration to tie in with the school district so that we're not confusing the kids in town with two different.
Okay, that's fine. We won't advertise that for now, but just so we're clear, the school district doesn't have an ordinance that can enforce it. It has a policy.
Right, but I would like to incorporate the policy with whatever our ordinance is so that they're getting the definitions are consistent, the terminology is consistent for them, that they understand that we're working in collaboration.
I'll have a copy of the Riverview anti-bullying policy for the committee meeting on the 4th Monday.
Wonderful.
This one was mainly for parents.
Right.
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand
Because if
that.
anything happens, well, okay, we have Burner School, okay.
Okay. So a motion on the floor made by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Jerry, I'll prepare that advertisement and send it over to you.
Perfect.
Madam President, that concludes my report now.
Thank you. Mr. Conti.
I talked with some people from RAA. We talked about them getting a shed to put up at Cribbs Field. They're delivering the shed. It's an Amish-built shed. It's being delivered tomorrow afternoon. It's 10 by 16, and it's going to go in the corner where the playground fence meets the outside fence. They asked that if we could clear the grass off, skim the grass out, and put gravel down so it would be sitting on gravel and not the dirt. AJ was up there today. I think he got it finished today. They're going to deliver it tomorrow. If it's too wet, they're going to drop it off in the alley in that right-of-way, out of the way of the garage for that house. And it's on skids, so once it's dry enough, we can pull it into the park and put it where it has to be. But that'll be done tomorrow, and that way that'll get the field dry that they've been storing in the building for the last probably 8 years. In the left side where the communications is, they've been storing all their stuff in there for a while. They're going to be able to get that out of there, and they'll have everything in the shed. And the reason the shed's so big is because they're going to have some type of machine up there that they can drag the fields. And that's a little bit bigger than just having a regular shed. And AJ went down to the park, down the riverbank, got all the fences, all the fence posts put back, or the rails put in. The garbage can, I'm not sure if he got the garbage can yet down there or not.
I think he
were
did.
talking about.
I think that he did.
Okay. And the lights that were out, the batteries were bad. The bulbs are fine, the batteries are bad. They were supposed to be in, I think, yesterday. I haven't talked to them to see if they came in or not. I'll find that out, but they're ready to be put back together as soon as the new batteries come in. And the road department committee, I'd like to talk with them, maybe schedule a meeting for sometime next week to talk about their contract, so we can get that rolling. And I'm pretty sure that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Carpenter?
Yeah, so thanks to Craig for doing most of my report. That was great. No, it's good. It's better. In terms of code enforcement and zoning for the month of February 13th to March 13th, 4 occupancy permits were approved. 21 permits are still pending approval. 3 permits remain pending from the previous months, and there's 8 temporary occupancy permits that remain open pending inspection. So that's 36 total. There's also 2 demo permits, 4 condemnations, and 1 foreclosure going on, happening, in progress. Anything to add, Bob? Okay. So there's that. We had a very busy day getting some of these ordinances moving along so that we can pass them. And in terms of the local government academy, I've gotten some interest from a couple of people. Is anybody else interested in attending? We would show it right here on the screen, coming to those classes. All right, well then the 3 of us will figure out a time and we'll still put it out there in case anyone changes your mind, wants to attend. They are 4 to 5 hours long each, so we wouldn't do the whole thing. The only caveat is once you open the link, you only have 14 days. So we need to make sure we schedule so that we can maybe do a couple hours one week, couple hours next week. So we get it done before the 14 days expires. So we'll get to that. I also just wanted to know, what is the update on the salt dump being moved? Are they making any plans?
Jerry and I are working on that. We hit a little bit of a roadblock with the DEP and the floodplain, so we're looking at what options we have.
Really? Isn't it in the floodplain now?
Yes, but it's grandfathered in. FEMA updated their maps back in 2014.
Okay.
And the Allegheny Valley is a zone that they actually put base flood elevations on. So the base flood elevation for that lot is 3 feet higher than what it is. And because it's salt, if you're constructing a new salt bin, it has to be above the floodplain.
So what thoughts do you have about that?
We're currently looking at other properties around the area to see if there's anywhere else we can put it. That's what we're working on.
That's out of the...
Out of the floodplain.
Okay. All right. I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting, but thank you. I'm done for now.
Mr. McCarthy?
I'm working with Jerry on getting some things together so that the police committee can get together and start the police contract.
Jerry as in Mr. Kenna or Jerry as...
Jerry and Mr. Kenna, not Jerry as in Franca. We're moving on that, so hopefully within the next week or so, I'll get all that information and we can get together as the police committee.
Very good, thank you.
That's it.
Finance budget grants, Mr. Suchovich.
The 2016 audit is in process. It's almost done. They started it. It's almost done. It should be done, next week or 2?
Couple weeks, yeah.
And then as soon as they're done with that, they're going to start the 2017 audit, probably May or June. Get that caught up to date.
Very good.
That's it.
Thank you. Mrs. LaLalba.
First thing I have is about the borough neighborhood summer beautification program. Mr. Steinhaus had initiated it. It was presented last at the workshop meeting through the slides, and through the recommendation of through the rec board, they would also like to make would like me to make a motion to go forward with this. So I'd like to make a motion to go forward with the Borough of Verona's Neighborhood Summer of 2018 beautification program.
A second.
Okay, motion on the floor by Mrs. LaLalba, second by Mr. Conti for the beautification project. Are there any questions? I have a question. Now, is the rec board going to be handling this? Is that going to fall under their?
It can be, yep, because the Parks and Rec board shall provide, so.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a combination.
Combination?
I mean, because the rec board will be allowed to spearhead it, but I think we're going to be one of the folks that's going to vote on it, to be there, but there's other people going to be, right? I mean, that's the other It's going to be. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Under us, but there'll be other judges.
Okay, all right.
and when is it starting? I mean,
Right now. No.
well, as soon as the weather breaks, probably, right? I mean, when is the judging, I guess, is what I want to know.
We'll be hearing more from the rec board then. Okay.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I wanted to let Jerry know so that Carrie can know, because this is something that's going to take time if people are interested. They got to apply with an application, and then they got to work all summer to get there.
Right here, registration here, it says on the paper here, is between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. between April 1st and April 30th.
Okay,
Register your block
okay,
at the Borough Building in person.
yeah. So in order for people to know to do this, we really need to get the word out on that, because if nobody knows about it, it won't really work. So, I'm no expert, I'm just knowing that people aren't going to know about it once we put it out there.
There's what we did with the garbage cans and putting out a community newsletter, could something go out?
Why not use the text?
And that too.
Not that many people
Okay.
subscribe, but won't get the word out enough.
Right.
So we missed the deadline for the newsletter, but we're also working on our Facebook page and things like that. If you will be getting the word out.
Okay.
Really pressure is-
All right. Okay, there's a motion on the floor made by Mrs. Loalba and seconded by Mr. Conti for the beautification project. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
May 5th is supposed to be a litter cleanup. Porta bodies were ordered, they were delivered. Thank you, Jerry, for getting that.
Janet, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
May 5th, that one?
No,
The litter cleanup?
something was ordered?
The porta potties, the porta johns for
Oh.
Crisfield, they were ordered and delivered probably the next day in time for the flag football. June 17th is the flag football, their second annual tournament fundraiser. Yes.
It's going to be the 24th.
The 24th?
17th is Father's Day.
Oh, okay. Thank you. June 24th will be the second annual flag football tournament fundraiser. Proceeds do go towards the rec board for the parks.
Janet, this litter cleanup on May the 5th, is that through Mr. Maddox?
Yes.
Is that,
Yes.
okay.
It happens to be on the same day as the Flower Club plant sale, but I think the Flower Club's starting at 9 a.m.
What, no.
Aren't you having your plant sale on May 5th?
Oh, wait,
It's included.
yeah, we changed it because of the governor, well,
Oh, you're having it on May 12th now?
no, Oak wants to have it every fall, so I changed it 1 week.
Right.
I moved it up 1 week. So
Right.
You're right, it is that.
So the Flower Club thing is also on May 5th, so it'll just be a very active day that day, but people can go and buy their plants and then help clean up litter at 10:30 or 11 when we start doing that.
That's all I have for you.
Thank you.
What about Kennywood Day?
Mrs. Provenza, no, she-
Yeah, we didn't need that. It was.
We're not.
I didn't mean to put it
Kennywood
on.
Day, Sandy?
no, we're not.
We don't need-
We had our meeting, communication meeting on Tuesday, May the 6th, and Janet and I were present. Pat was out of town, so we had our meeting that night, and we talked about working with Carrie, and of course, using our newsletter, and we would try to come up with some other avenues that we could use. And then after that meeting, I also attended the rec board meeting that same evening, and I see we have a few people here from the rec board. I want to compliment them. I think it's a very well-run and productive meeting. I think you all conducted very well, and I want to thank you for welcoming me and inviting me back again. I sincerely appreciate that. You folks are, you've got your act together, doing a good job, and I thank you. Also, I had a couple complaints, questions thrown at me. I've had some residents ask me about our website and when it would be up and running, and also who is handling it and what was the cost. And I said, I will bring it up at the meeting and then I'll get back with you. So, what do I tell them?
The name of it is...
The company that was hired was Upcode Studios.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Upcode Studios.
Studios.
Upcode, okay.
Studios. We budgeted $4,000. Their bid came in less than that. I think it was $3,000, but I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
And we're within a week or two away.
Oh,
we were
okay.
hoping for the middle of the month, but I'm not sure. That's 2 days from now. So.
Okay. So it's
almost
in the works, tell them, and it will be very soon?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
The other thing, I had somebody else approach me about something, and they wanted to know what's going on with the cameras. Are we going to get them? Are we not going to get them?
What cameras?
What cameras?
I don't know. They said that there's been talk at meetings about cameras, and they wanted to know what's going on with cameras. Are they going to be installed or are they not?
The cameras that were discussed when Leo was doing it, they're here. They're installed. We're using them.
They're already being used?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought, but I didn't want to say the wrong thing. Jerry, also, I'd like to ask you if you would be kind enough to contact Curtis Brown and have him put the text up about the spaghetti dinner starting now, and then if he can do a reminder on Wednesday, March 21st, which would be like a couple days before. I would appreciate that, and I thank you. And the last thing is, I had someone down in Sylvan call me, and they said there's a large hole by the salt dump.
Oh.
They're working on the sewer line down there.
Yeah,
They
They said there's a large machine there too?
No, they just,
Barrier?
no, this might be something different.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
They just said there's a big hole down there, can somebody please take care of it? And I said, I'll bring it up at the meeting.
Okay.
They're working on it.
So, it's in the works, right?
It's in the works.
In the works, okay. That is it, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Provenza, Mr. Suchovich, anything on the special committees report?
Nothing.
Okay, and we already discussed Council of Government. So council will now hear from the public on public-related items. Please approach the podium, clearly state your name and address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hello. Dave Matlin, 722 Bruno Street. I had a couple questions about the Arlene grant input. Will that include, I don't know if it's planned out what all of the project will include. Will it include, do you know if it'll include synchronization with the other?
It will.
It will,
Yeah.
okay.
I already talked, the signal itself is not designed yet. We were waiting for the grant, but I did talk to the traffic engineer. It will have synchronization. I don't know if it's been better lately, but there was a camera that was bad on Center that was recently replaced. So that should have helped with some of the timing issues with the 2 current lights, but this one will definitely be synchronized.
Okay. So then does that project get bid out or is it through?
It will be bid out through the contract process and design. We're probably looking towards the end of the year, beginning next year for construction time frame.
Okay. And then my last question was, will it include any crosswalks or kind of pedestrian upgrades or anything there?
The corners already have ADA ramps on.
Okay.
So I don't know if we might have to eliminate one to fit a pole in or something. So we'll have to work around that once we have the site survey and everything done.
Okay.
I can say that there won't be anything less than what's already there, if not improved.
So would there be like the crossing, like?
I think he was talking.
Oh, so you mean like the
walk,
like the push button and everything?
Yeah, either like the light or a cross, like a painted crosswalk. I don't know. I know there's the ramps, but I don't know about painted crosswalk.
We can definitely accommodate the painted crosswalk. I'd have to check back on all the details if it actually included a signalized like walk sign or not. I'm not sure on that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Worf.
Don Worf, 636 3rd Avenue. In relation to the same discussion here, is there any consideration for incorporating synchronization for left-hand turns? There right now, presently in the Verona Borough, there is no left-hand turn signals. It really ties to traffic. I mean, it's been a problem for years.
I think we had that.
I don't know if it can be done, but I'm sure there's more complicated intersections than Verona. So I think that might be something that a borough should actively pursue because it's a golden opportunity to get that study in and maybe get that incorporated into the plan.
I can say the one at Wildwood will have a left-hand turn because...
Well, that doesn't help much if you're in the borough.
Yeah, I understand that. I can check. It won't be part of the Arley grant, but it's something we can look into.
Is there a reason why it wouldn't be? I mean, you sort of said right now that there wasn't a definite plan in place yet.
Well, this is just for the Arley grant is just for the signal at Wildwood.
I see.
PennDOT, my understanding is PennDOT has done studies and told us that we don't need it. Am I correct?
Turn signals, left-hand turns, but that was for the traffic light. Originally, they didn't want the traffic light.
Well, no, I'm talking about even at Center.
So you're talking about Center Avenue?
Right.
I'm talking about ARB, basically. When you're traveling down ARB at either of the two lights that we have in town, there is no way to turn left at those lights in either direction.
Well, it wouldn't be impossible at Center, but there would have to be a new traffic design done because to accommodate a left turn light, you have a left turn lane. So the right lane would more than likely become the through lane, and the current through lane would be the turn lane.
Unless you had two-way traffic, stop the left-hand side and run the right-hand side, and vice versa, stop the right.
That's not part of the Arley grant.
So it may be that way.
It's something we can look into. Unfortunately, PennDOT makes all the calls when it comes to their roads.
Has some say, it really, I think it does. It's just a matter of speaking up and sticking up for our rights too. I think it's something we can do.
Matt, when Larry...
In the past, we had light poles put in, we didn't speak up. We could have had decorative light poles. So, I mean, these are kind of things PennDOT expects the borough, or township, or municipality, or city to speak up and ask for it. So I wouldn't hurt to speak up and ask for it, see if we can get it.
It was spoke up and asked for by Larry when at Center Avenue. Okay, I was on Larry like that, like a new suit with that one, and there wasn't anything that could be done because PennDOT needs to do that study, like you're saying.
Well, I know it's just not as simple as putting up a new traffic light that has a turn arrow on it. Even for putting up the little sign that said accept buses, we had to reprint the traffic control plan and re-sign it because everything is signed and recorded with, I mean, that's a small aluminum sign on the sidewalk next to the bus station and all it says is accept buses. So in order to do that, you have to go through a full detailed traffic study of all the ingress and egress of turning and straight and everything. So I'm not saying it's impossible, it's something that we could look into, but it's not part of this grant.
Well, I mean, I'm the only one that sees that as a problem. I might be the only one. I don't know if anybody else has thought of that or not, but again, I think that might be something that they can throw in.
I agree with you, Don. It is a problem. You get, when you're sitting at the light trying to go up the hill, you get one car through, and you're sitting through the whole cycle of lighting.
I'm beating the lights now, too, you know? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, it's a real serious health problem.
Well, outside of the Arley grant, maybe we can look into it and try pushing in a different direction, not through this Arley grant. The Arley grant is just for that light.
Okay.
That's fine. I do appreciate you working hard to get that grant. It's really something we've worked for years. Thank you.
One thing we can look in, and I'll talk to the traffic engineer, the one at Wildwood will have a left turn lane. So when that's green, we can possibly get traffic from the Oakmont direction green as well. So that might alleviate some of the problem turning. That's an option that would just take some timing changes for now,
Okay.
but I'll discuss that with him.
Thanks, Matt.
Vince Glover, 323 Penn Street. I just have a question about the shed. Is it going to block the view from the street to the playground for security purposes?
Partially, yeah, not fully, but they partially will block it, yes.
So if the police are driving by, they won't be able to see if somebody's vandalizing the park or the playground?
If they're in that corner, yeah, they won't be able to see up in that corner. Yeah, it'll be, yeah.
That's an issue. There's already vandalism and pictures drawn inside the slide.
Yes. Well, for the size of shed, that was the only feasible place to put it that we could think of without it being in the way or someone running into it, being out in the open.
Could the camera be moved then maybe to help with that?
Well, once we get these cameras,
what's a CDBG? We're looking for.
It's another grant that we had applied for, the CDBG grant, of possible solar like they're completely wireless cameras.
Right now, the
yes.
field house blocks
yes.
the view of that to the playground, so if we can move the camera, that might alleviate the fact that the shed's blocking the police's view to the playground.
That camera right now, as far as I know, isn't working, or is it?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Plugged in.
I don't think it is
That was
working.
my next question. All the security cameras working in town?
There are a lot that are working. There's a lot that aren't working.
I was, this from personal experience, I was ran over by a car on the boulevard from get-go in 2014, and I was told by the police chief that the cameras weren't working.
Well, I think those are the ones that were replaced. Leo had them work. Those were all replaced, so those are all working.
So they've been replaced since 2014?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jessica Brown. I live with Dave, 722 Bruno. And I have a question about the website, the new website. You mentioned that it was going to cost something around $3,000 to build the new website. Are there going to be ongoing costs for updating it? Who's going to be responsible for, updating the website once it's up? Sometimes I know that can be tricky with technology.
Yeah, significant updates are going to be handled through that company. The money that was budgeted for that first year is more than enough to cover that. They're setting it up so that minor updates can be done at the borough office so that we can update events and things like that we need to be able to do on the fly. But we're going to have an ongoing relationship with that company so that we can keep it up to date.
So there will be like an event calendar that anybody can, easily go in and update. Okay. And is there like a way to, I'm not sure if there's an official communications committee that I could participate in? I would be really excited to volunteer for that.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
I don't know if it's official or if it's just kind of, something that's unofficial, but yeah, please let me know. Thanks.
Not usually, that's an ad hoc committee.
Okay. So it would have to be an ad hoc committee because the council has established the communication committee. So an ad hoc committee could be determined.
So there's a committee, I'm confused, there's a committee that exists?
There's a
committee
communication
that only the council members are on. It's a subcommittee of council.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But there could be an additional ad hoc committee of people who would then...
If something's needed, just like when we did with the recycling grant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's a great idea.
So there's something that can be done, that's what you're saying.
If something's going on, yeah.
This is one person with great skills to promote that.
Patty Caminello, 756 2nd Street. I just wanted to let you know that our first concerts in the park start in May. It's on the 6th and the 20th, on Sundays at 6 o'clock.
Sundays at 6?
The Beatles playing this year?
What's that?
Beatles?
I'm not sure yet.
May 6th and 20th. 2 Sundays. 2 in May, Patty?
Yeah, first two are 6th and 20th.
Do you know who's scheduled for those dates?
Yeah, Already Sweaty, the Bluegrass Band, and acoustic version, that's offered.
already sweaty.
Yep. June 3rd is our next one with the,
Patty, when was May 6th? What was the next one?
20th.
20th?
Yeah, and our whole band's coming back.
Oh, good.
Can I have a motion to adjourn to exec session?
I'll make a motion to adjourn to exec session.
I'll second. Who's second? Pat. Pat second.
All those in favor?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
With those,